I've been reading a lot of studies lately, and this has got to be one of my favorites just because of how it progressed, as well as what it showed. A Dr. Sims in the late 1960s wanted to show that eating too much makes you fat, and he gave mice an infinite supply of food. They didn't get fat. They stopped eating when they got full, because obviously. Okay, next step. Force feed the mice. This caused their metabolism to go up. They've got more calories available, so their bodies use them. Higher heart rate, more bodily function of repair and muscle building, higher body temperature, etc. So the mice still didn't gain weight. Okay, well, mice are pretty different than humans anyway. Let's get some volunteers from the University of Vermont, all lean and healthy, and make them fat. Eat what you want and a lot of it, as much as you can, he told them. And they did, documented everything, and none of them gained weight. Turns out, willfully overeating is pretty hard. We didn't know the specifics at the time, but we have hormonal systems in place that tell us exactly when you should start and stop eating. Obesity tends to happen because this hormonal system is broken. That's not an excuse, of course, because you can easily fix it, but more on that later. Anyway, have you ever eaten so much that you get a little nauseated just by the smell of food? This isn't because of real nausea per se. I mean, it is real, but it's not because of food poisoning or something not sitting right with you. It's your brain making you think you are nauseated so that you stop eating. You've already eaten enough. God, please stop! This is also what satiety is. Believe it or not, the volume of food isn't even the main factor when it comes to feeling full, or at least it's not the only thing. There are several factors at play. Your body knows roughly how many calories and nutrients you've consumed relatively quickly after you've eaten them. And when it finishes its checklist of things that it needs, it tells you to stop eating. You feel satisfied. Or nauseated. And because of that, well, the students, well, they wouldn't overeat. At least not too much. When they did, they started feeling sick, so they stopped. Leading Dr. Sims to do the next best thing. He went to the prison. Ooh, yeah, prison studies. That's... Oh, the prisoners volunteered. A sigh of relief. I'm not mean. Anyway, the prisoners had their exercise limited and everything they ate monitored, and they started by eating 4,000 calories a day, and some tapped out already, quit. They were sick of feeling sick, but others were continuously pushed to over 10,000 calories a day. And over the next 6 months, they did actually gain 20% of their body weight, which, by the way, was much less than what Dr. Sims expected based on calorie theory. But it turned out that upon eating all these calories, their basal metabolic rate, or metabolisms, also rose by 50%. Their bodies are trying actively to burn away all the extra calories because it has them. And sure enough, when the 6 months of overeating ended and they all went back to just eating normally, many of them didn't keep any of their fat. It just melted away for the next few months. This was obviously very confusing to Dr. Sims, but he had a new hypothesis and wanted to test it. So next up was taking skinny people, making them fat, and taking fat people and making them skinny. Entirely through calorie theory, by the way. He stopped them when the two groups were the same weight, and found that... exactly what we should expect at this point. The previously skinny people were burning double the calories that the previously fat people were. The fat people slowed their metabolism, and it will likely remain slow for a long, long time. And the skinny people sped their metabolism up. And because of that, once the study was over, they both slowly returned to their original weight. It's pretty interesting, right? The people always talk about how their metabolism is slow, and that's why they're overweight. Yeah, that's it. But really, the opposite is true. In most cases, the more overweight you are, the faster your metabolism is. Your body is actively trying to burn all that excess fat. That's what it's there for. But due to a huge number of factors that we'll cover in a later video, more often than not, severely overweight people aren't letting their body do what it wants. And it's not necessarily because of overeating alone, as you'll see later. Thanks for watching Azoth University.